Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7. This is an incredible, important scene. It's one of the most important scenes in the play, and this is, in a sense, coming at the end of Act 1. So after this, we're into Act 2. This takes place, obviously, in Macbeth's castle from Scene 6. We've had Duncan, who's arrived. Duncan has arrived at Macbeth's castle in Glamis, and he's been accepted. Now, just to kind of reiterate the fact that we've got Lady Macbeth, who's welcomed him. Macbeth hasn't actually welcomed him there because, he's still trying to deal with the fact that he's planning on murdering him. So the situation is here that we've got Macbeth at home. His wife's planning the murder, and we have Macbeth here on his own. And this, in a sense, is Macbeth's first soliloquy. We've had asides. That's him thinking and talking when people are around, and it's an aside. So he's kind of part of a conversation, and he sort of turns aside and has this thought. But here he's by himself, and he's considering what he's going to be doing. We'll maybe do this in two parts because it's quite detailed. Okay, so we're in the room. He's by himself and he's thinking out loud. It's a soliloquy, as he say. If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well that were done quickly. And he opens here with this very, very important kind of this very sort of important question: "Were done 'tis done quickly," and in a way he reflecting on the words of Jesus. I think it's in the book of John, dealing with Judas. Judas is going to betray it, and Jesus says something to the effect, if you're going to do it, just do it quickly. Just get it over and done with. And here Macbeth is kind of mirroring that. So in a way, he's got a bit of a conscience here. We can see that if he's going to do it, he's got to do it quickly because his conscience will get the better of him otherwise. And he understands his parallels with the betraying Judas who betrayed someone who was innocent. And if he's Judas, then it would kind of hint at the idea of the king being Jesus. And in Christianity, Jesus, in a sense, is God made flesh. And reiterates that idea of the king being God's messenger on earth. Okay, I suppose in a replacement for Jesus. So we got this idea, it would be done quickly. If the assassination could trimble up the consequence and catch without surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we'd jump the life to come. But in these cases we have judgment here, that but we teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. Now this is kind of it's quite a dense little passage, but what he's saying here, I mean, but here upon if that would be all, and it ended with me killing the king, King Duncan, it would be cool, it would be fine, everything would be fine, but it's not. But here at this present time, okay, that if we, have judgment here, that really at the end of the day, there will be someone to judge us, that although we'll kill the king, God's judgment still should be upon us. But we teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. And it's this idea that he would be revenged upon. That in a sense, that what you do, and it comes back to that biblical illusion of that which you sow, that which you will reap, in a sense, where when you do stuff like that, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword, it's that sort of thing. How you live your life, in a sense, is part of your judgment. And this, in a sense, is what he's getting at. All right. So in a sense, we see also Macbeth here. He's aware. He's aware not only of himself, but of God's judgment. This is certainly would have been, a Christian in that sense. But he's aware that what he's doing is morally wrong in the eyes of God. Okay. He says, this even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice. And I love that idea of the poison chalice. You know, and that imagery of how we say the Last Supper, when they just had where they passed around the cup and they each drank from it. This is my body which is given for you, and this is my blood. But here, it's like a poison chalice. It's not the giving of life. It's the idea of taking life, poison chalice. So, but when I commit this, okay, I drink the poison too, in a sense, is what he's saying. And then he explains why. And it's here. It's in this little bit here. Okay. He's here in double trust. Okay. This is two really strong reasons why he should trust me from not killing. First, I am his kinsman and a subject. All right. So in a way, he's kinsman. They are related by blood. All right. Not directly, in a sense. They probably would have been cousins. They call each other cousins. And his subject. That basically, not only that, but he's a subject of the king. He's, part of Scotland. And then he says, strong both against the deed. So isn't this the same guy who basically fought to uphold the king, to basically make sure the king would continue to reign? So he kind of understands the gravity of what he's doing, because he went to war on behalf of this man he's about to kill. Then, as his host, who should against his murder shut the door, not bear the knife myself. In a sense, this is really, really important, that when you show hospitality and protection to someone, you're meant to uphold that. And he's not. He knows that he will have to kill him. Besides, and this is where it gets kind of interesting too, besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And here we see, in a sense, why Duncan is a good king. He's meek, he's humble, and here he's also clear in his office, that what he is doing, in a sense, is virtuous. He's a virtuous person. He's a good person. Okay. And pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast of heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, the tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. So let's come to this. So in a way, what he's saying is, to kill Duncan, this in a sense is kind of like how we say, everyone, he has been such a good king. He is beloved in Scotland, in a sense. And so everyone's going to know about it. Everyone will know how horrible and dreadful this deed. He's not killing a tyrant. He's not killing someone who has been kind of abused their office or has been, grinding the faces of the poor, but a man who is meek, humble, and great and magnanimous as a king. And so he considers this. Not only is it wrong because he fought on Duncan's behalf, to maintain him as King of Scotland. Not only is he, a subject. Not only is he someone who he's meant to protect, but not only that, he's a great man, and people will be greatly displeased. And we get this idea. Striding the blast are heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air. The cherubim are angels. There's two classes of angels. There's the seraphim, and then there's the cherubim and the cherubs. If you heard of cherub is, but in a sense, I think seraphim were the messengers of God, and cherubim were the kind of the people who dealt out his wishes. So, but here we have probably the most depressing lines spoken in this thing. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. And in a way, this is this moment. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent. We get this lovely kind of metaphor that, in a way, he needs something more than just kind of ambition. Ambition is not vaulting of ambition. I love this vaulting, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. Don't read too much into it in a sense, but what he's saying is basically, this ambition is that's it, and I'm ambitious. So in a way, for me, Jesus Killer King is ambitious. It's not enough. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent. Intent. And that's a very, very important. There's a big quotation there. Okay. And then enter Lady Macbeth. And up until this part, we kind of see Macbeth as being someone who is obviously educated. He understands his Bible. He understands the moral code of the time. He understands his place in the world. And he also understands himself. He understands the fact that, yeah, no, I'm ambitious, but that's it. I really don't have the drive to go and get what I need. Now, if we remember from Lady Macbeth, from Act 1, Scene 5, we'll realise, in a sense, that Lady Macbeth is actually a very, very, she's quite a clever person. She also understands her husband really, really well. She understands how, in a sense, he thinks, and the fact that he doesn't kind of, he won't grasp what needs to be grasped. Yes, he's good in battle. He's a good husband, but he's not, in a sense, but he has ambitions, but he's not a go-getter, in a sense. All right. And then we've got Lady Macbeth, and this, in a sense, is where the whole thing changes. Remember, soliloquy finishes, and Lady Macbeth enters. We're going to pause there for today, because in the next part, we're going to see how it goes from deciding, okay, that he will not, in a way, kill Duncan, and we'll see tomorrow.